Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into something pretty significant. South Korea's moves, really ambitious moves, in regulating stablecoins. It's shaping up to be a fascinating legislative, well, maybe a tug of war even, that could really echo globally. So our mission today is to unpack two specific proposals. We've got Representative Ahn Do-gil's Act on the Issuance and Distribution of Value-Stable Digital Assets, and then there's Representative Kim Yoon-hai's Act on Payment Innovation, using value-fixed digital assets. These aren't just dry legal docs, they're like two very different visions.
Exactly right. And both are trying to build a solid regulatory house for stablecoins. They agree on the basics. You need a license to issue. You got to manage reserves carefully, protect the users. That's common ground. But this is where it gets really interesting. How they get there, their approaches, they diverge quite a bit. Shows different priorities, really.
Okay, so let's get right into that divergence. What's the biggest difference that jumps out at you, the most fundamental one?
Oh, easily. It's about interest. Can stablecoins pay interest or not? Ahn's bill, it's a hard no. Explicitly bans interest payments. It really wants to keep stablecoins purely in the payment method box. Period.
Right, just for transactions.
Exactly. But Kim's bill, it doesn't have that specific ban, so that leaves the door open, for different business models. Maybe things linked to DeFi services where you earn yield, or like reward programs. More flexibility there.
And that difference, that sounds like it has ripples way beyond Korea, especially thinking about the U.S.
Oh, absolutely. Massive implications. You look at the U.S. Genius Act, for example. It specifically prohibits interest on stablecoins. Why? To avoid them being tagged as securities. That classification brings a whole different world of regulation, much heavier.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, for Korean companies thinking globally, wanting to enter the U.S. market, their stablecoin model eventually has to play by U.S. rules, pretty much regardless of what Korea itself allows.
That U.S. connection is key. So how do these two bills handle foreign stablecoins then? Because they're inherently global things.
Yeah, good question. Ahn's bill puts the onus on the individual platforms, the VASPs, the virtual asset service providers. They have to do their own checks, their own eligibility assessments.
Okay, so it's sort of case by case, VASP by VASP.
Kind of decentralized, yeah. Kim's bill, though, it has this special provision. It basically says foreign issuers can be treated like domestic ones if they meet the requirements and register with the Financial Services Commission. It really hints quite strongly, actually, at setting up potential, mutual recognition deals with other countries.
That feels like a pretty significant strategic difference, especially since the U.S. has something similar, right? A mutual recognition idea.
Precisely. The U.S. Genius Act has that clause, too. Foreign stablecoins can operate if their home country's rules are seen as comparable to the U.S. system. So the level of regulation South Korea finally lands on, it could literally be the entry ticket or the barrier for Korean stablecoins getting into the U.S. market. It's very strategic.
Okay, and then there are some other, maybe finer grained differences that show their philosophies, like issuance and redemption.
Yeah, definitely. Ahn's bill is stricter here. It demands reserves of 100% or more in the actual linked currency. Plus, quarterly reviews by accounting firms, and redemption has to happen within just 3 business days. Very tight.
Wow, okay. Very focused on immediate security and access. Puts pressure on the issuers, though.
It does. Kim's bill, again, a bit more flexible, allows reserves in Korean won, also 100% plus. Reviews are quarterly too, but by external auditors, and the redemption window is longer, 10 days.
10 days, okay.
Gives issuers a bit more breathing room for managing assets, but, users wait longer. It's that classic trade-off, liquidity versus operational ease.
And quickly on oversight, I saw differences there too. Ahn wants this ad hoc committee with the FSC, Bank of Korea, Ministry of Finance.
Right, a multi-agency body for issuing authority. Kim's bill doesn't propose that specific committee structure.
And data requests.
Ahn's bill gives data access rights to both the Bank of Korea and the Ministry of Economy and Finance. Kim's only grants it to the Bank of Korea. So different views on how widely that oversight net is cast.
Okay, so pulling it all together, what's the core tension here?
Well, it really seems to boil down to this. Ahn's bill prioritizes financial stability, uses stricter controls, emphasizes security, quick access, tight guardrails. Kim's bill leans more towards payment innovation. It still has regulations, definitely licensing, reserves, but the design is, more flexible, trying to encourage new uses, perhaps.
Right. And that's the fundamental challenge, isn't it? Finding that sweet spot between tight control for safety and enough flexibility so you don't stifle the very innovation you want to enable. Because if the rules are too high level, too burdensome, even with good intentions, you could end up hindering the tech and maybe making the whole domestic market less competitive globally.
Exactly. Which leads to a really interesting question for you listening right now. What really stands out to you? How do you see these different approaches potentially shaping not just what happens in South Korea, but maybe influencing global rules or how easy it is for new stablecoin tech to even get to market? What do you think the ultimate trade-off will be in this legislative dance? Something to think about.